Welcome to the Coastal Zone Conversion Permit Open House. Today's open house is an opportunity for you to learn about the work that has been done to help develop regulations for coastal zone conversion permits and to provide your feedback on preliminary recommendations about what to include in these regulations. This presentation will cover background information about the Coastal Zone, the Coastal Zone Act, and how DNREC is creating new regulations for the Coastal Zone Act. The presentation will also cover basic information about the open house and how you can provide feedback. The Coastal Zone in Delaware is a special place. It is home to a rich range of wildlife, provides natural protection against storms, and, through managed industrial use, has preserved an ecosystem that remains connected among land, estuary, and sea. The Delaware General Assembly passed Delaware's Coastal Zone Act in 1971. This was one of the first major pieces of environmental legislation in the country and preceded such national legislation as the Clean Air Act and Clean Water Act. The intent of the Coastal Zone Act was to strike the correct balance between introducing new industry to the state and protecting the state's environment, natural beauty, and outdoor recreation opportunities. The Coastal Zone Act banned new heavy industrial facilities in the coastal zone, an area of land along Delaware's entire coastline from Claymont to Fenwick Island. The Coastal Zone Act defines a heavy industry as an operation that has smokestacks, tanks, or chemical processing equipment and takes place on more than 20 acres of land. At the time the law was passed, there were 14 sites where heavy industrial development was already in place. These sites were grandfathered and allowed to continue operating. However, over the next 36 years, the economy and technology changed. Some companies on these industrial sites stopped operating at full capacity or closed down. Currently, 9 of the 14 heavy industrial sites are active industrial or commercial businesses. Recently, the Delaware General Assembly made changes to the Coastal Zone Act to help encourage economic activity in the state by providing more flexibility for industrial activity on these 14 sites. They created a new type of state permit called the Coastal Zone Conversion Permit. With this permit, along with other state and local approvals, new industrial facilities can be built on the 14 grandfathered industrial sites as long as they remain within the footprint or area of that site and obtain a Coastal Zone Conversion Permit. However, some types of new heavy industrial development are still not allowed. This includes oil refineries, incinerators, steel manufacturing plants, paper mills, and liquefied natural gas terminals. In order for a developer to get a conversion permit to build a new heavy industrial facility on one of the 14 sites, they have to meet special requirements that are spelled out in the Coastal Zone Act. For example, a developer has to show that the facility will provide an economic or environmental improvement. They also must show evidence that they have adequate funds to pay for complying with environmental cleanup requirements. In addition, they must prepare a plan for sea level rise and coastal storms and offset a facility's negative environmental impacts. The General Assembly tasked DNREC with writing regulations or rules for conversion permits. These regulations will provide detail about all the conversion permit requirements and what steps a developer can take to comply with them in order to obtain a conversion permit. To help guide DNREC in developing the regulations, it established the Coastal Zone Conversion Permit Regulatory Advisory Committee. The committee is composed of a diverse mix of stakeholders representing a broad range of entities, such as government agencies, environmental groups, business and labor groups, community organizations, and the public health sector. The committee has met monthly since June 2018 to review information about conversion permit requirements and discuss options for ways to describe those requirements in the regulations. In some cases, the committee formed work groups of experts on specific topics to provide technical information that would help the committee develop its recommendations to DNREC. The committee has now made preliminary recommendations for what to include in the conversion permit regulations. These recommendations cover several topics, including environmental and economic impacts, preparing the development site for sea level rise and coastal storms, and financial assurance. Today's open house is your opportunity to learn about the preliminary recommendations and provide your thoughts and comments. The committee is seeking your feedback on these preliminary recommendations before finalizing them. All feedback received by Friday, March 1st, will be provided to the committee in time to be considered at their March meeting. As you get ready to explore this open house, we encourage you to learn about the Coastal Zone Act and the committee's recommendations at your own pace by walking through all of the information stations and interacting with DNREC staff members at the stations. Committee members are also in attendance at this open house to listen to your comments and concerns. You will find feedback forms in your packet as well as at our comment table. Feel free to take your time tonight to write your comments, or you can mail or email them to the addresses listed on your comment form. The committee will review this public feedback and consider it before finalizing their recommendations to DNREC. After the committee finalizes its recommendations to DNREC, it will put together a report summarizing all their decisions and the process for getting to those decisions. DNREC will make this report available to the public. DNREC will draft conversion permit regulations considering the recommendations of the Regulatory Advisory Committee. Once regulations are drafted, there will be further opportunities for you as the public to provide comment, including a formal public hearing in the summer of 2019. Thank you again for taking the time to attend this open house on the development of regulations for conversion permits. We hope you find this evening informative and engaging, and we look forward to hearing your feedback.